It is Friday again. The market's been roaring all week. Nasdaq up more than 5%. And in the $1,000 challenge, NIO has been pushing the $1,000 all the way up to $4,836.88. And you are listening to the StockInvest.US podcast Trading Tips with Jim as we head into week 17.
Tick-tock goes the market clock. Bulls run wild, bears don't talk. Up or down, it's a coin flip game. Buy low, sell high, don't lose your grip. Stay sharp, stay fast on this trading trip. It's Trading Tips with Jim. Win or learn, never forgive. Stack your knowledge to the brim.
In last week's podcast, I told you I thought it would be an even week. Probably start red, could end green, but it didn't move much. That was my prediction, and oh boy, was I wrong. Because market did just one thing: up, and especially Nasdaq, which pushed so far more than 5.24%. All the big companies went up. And I told you I bought Tesla because Tesla finally hit the limits where I wanted to buy it, under 366. And as we stand, Tesla is sitting at $388.90. So I made more than 10% on my investment in this very, very short period of time. That being said, I haven't got all the Tesla shares that I wanted. I wanted much more, but market just went bananas up, so I was not able to fill in as much as I want. How will I deal with this? Will I buy at 388? Is that still a good level, or will I wait? This is one of the things I will try to answer in this week's podcast, which will be hopefully a very, very short one, because I don't have too much to say. One of the reasons why I don't have too much to say is because if we look at the charts, we can see that Nasdaq and Dow Jones and S&P 500 had a very, very strong rally from the bottom. If you follow this podcast, you know that I started to buy before the bottom. I told everyone that I think it's a super good buying opportunity. We are getting close to the bottom of the rising trend for Nasdaq, and I think things will pop up, and it has. But it has gone very, very strong, very fast, this so-called relief rally. And as we speak, the short-term RSI for Nasdaq in the short term is overbought at 84. If you look at the long term, it's not still overbought, but it's 64. So what does this tell me? If you look at the buy and the sell signals in general, we can say that Nasdaq is not in classic sell signal is 38. Usually it's above some 40. It starts to become very, very scary. But we are at a scenario where two things is most likely to happen. Either things just go very strong upwards, or it will take a break downwards. It will be either. I don't think there will be some slow movements. This will be huge volatility again. And my bet is the same like last week. I bet that the Nasdaq will continue upwards in the long run. I argued so many times why I will not repeat it in this podcast. I believe we will have a super year in general. I believe Nasdaq so far is up 5% this year, but that in general 2026 will be a very, very strong year, and world economy, stock markets for the next decade will be absolutely astonishing. This is my prediction. There will always be these swings up and down, and I saw the last downturn as a natural swing. What I see now is a little bit too hard upturn. It's a relief rally, but volume is also okay, but shows period where it doesn't follow the volume, meaning that I believe a lot of people have jumped on the rally without really knowing why. This is the most classic thing, and a lot of you, around 1,000 people, will listen to this podcast, and most of you sadly will do the same thing over and over again. You will panic sell, and you will panic buy. You will buy when things are going strong up, then you will rush to get in, and just to see that we are hitting a short-term top and going a little bit down. I always say the same thing: buy in red days, sell in green days. That is the one way that will improve your game at least 2 times. When everyone is selling, I usually buy, and when everyone is buying, I start to reduce my exposure. As I said, I believe markets will continue. I think markets will have a short-term reaction down. Can be that it pushes straight to 25,000 for Nasdaq. I have no idea, but I'm slowly holding a little back. I wanted to get into more shares. As you know, I got into American Airlines. Another thing that's just keep pushing upwards. I bought more shares when it fell last time, and currently it's sitting at 12.27, yielding such a nice profit. Starbucks, of course, keep pushing upwards, $98.36. Cheap bottle the same, and I never managed to get into Nivida. Getting back to the markets, what will happen? I believe market has to have a correction down, but it will just be a short one, because now people will start to secure their money. There is so much support from different moving averages, from accumulated volume, from everything around 23,000 points. Nasdaq currently sitting around 24,000 points, 24,102 to be exact. I find it supernatural for Nasdaq to react down to 23,000. That will just erase this week's gain, which is 5%, fall the same down as it went up, more than 1,000 points, and you're back at 23. Should be absolutely natural, nothing special about it. But more than ever, Nasdaq again shows all the signs of continuing upwards. Buy signals from all the moving averages, even the relationship between the short and long-term moving averages. Strong signal, and as I said, and I keep repeat saying, tons of good stocks are cheap. Nasdaq is the one exchange that offer the most of them. There is still a lot of tech stocks which, in my opinion, are super cheap at current levels. So even if you buy today, markets go down, I'm pretty sure that move a little ahead and you will see strong gains in whatever you buy. Quick run through the rest of the buy and sell signals, because they very often seems to time market correctly. New York Stock Exchange 26% buy signals, London 37% buy signals, Oslo 42% buy signals, Frankfurt 44%. National Stock Exchange was the one that went up the most to 55th. If you go to the YouTube channel or Spotify or wherever, and you go 3 podcasts back, you hear me say National Stock Exchange of India is very cheap. I will buy some Indian companies. That doubled my money. And it feels very boring repeating the same, but when buy and sell signals is just from our system, we score tickers between buy and sell, give them buy, sell or hold ranking. When the buy signals are way too high, markets are overheated, and when they are too low, they are undervalued. And the National Stock Exchange was down all the way at 7. And I know some of you have been following this podcast, which is in the 7th year. Heard me say over and over again, when we had these crashes and market goes down to 7, I am buying because this is the opportunities. Nasdaq 4 weeks ago was down at 9 and 11, and you heard me say the same thing. Markets are now oversold, there will be a reaction up. I will buy. Everyone else were selling. It simply works. It might miss on a week, it might miss on 2 weeks, sometimes even 3 weeks, but in general, it works. So there is just one tip if you're a new listener that hasn't heard it before. Use the buy and the sell signals for what it's worth, because it will tell you something about the market as such. Trying to get a stock to go up in a market which is going down is absolutely a hard game. When market is going up, most are going up, you just increase your chances of success if you buy in the right trends. Enough about this. Gold is sitting at $4,806 and I believe gold will continue downwards, but it holds strong. Remember, it was up at 5,500. I am out of gold, and of course I can regret it, but I needed the money for different other trades. After doubling my money in gold, I sold to invest into Nivida. Tesla doubled my money again. I really want to get back into gold. Absolutely desire it very, very strongly, and just hope that gold will push downwards. There is one thing that bothers me a lot, and that is the huge debt across the world. United States keep printing money. It is an issue, an absolute issue, and the inflation is eating off the debt, the real value of the debt, but still it is way too high. And at some point, bonds might be hard to sell in the United States, and then we can get into an issue. And when and if these issues happens, gold will be the way to go. Maybe I will be wrong because I believe gold should go down to around 3,000. Maybe I will be wrong. That it will just stay at current level and then continue upwards. As I said, I believe if we look way forward, gold will easily hit 10,000. It will push upwards. I just thought it was way too overbought at 5,500. And I said I cannot imagine anything else than it will just drop very hard. 10-year Treasury yield, another thing that tells something about how easy it's to sell money, etc., is at 4.3 and been around the same thing. Oil, which I believe, and this you can hold me accountable for, which I believe will be at $40 by end of summer, is at 90. It was up at 111 last week. Now it's down to 90. Of course, everything is about Iran, etc. And I will spend 1 minute about the Iran question. I don't think there will be a prolonged Iran war. I think that the conflict will just ease out. I believe US have achieved more or less what they wanted to achieve. I really just hope that the people of Iran will have their small revolution and get the regime change. May not happen, may happen, I'm not sure. But I don't think there will be any prolonged conflict with the United States. In essence, they have taken out the heavy military capacities. Iran doesn't pose any real threat at any given time. They can go even harder in. And knowing that China is super dependent on oil from the region, Iran cannot, they've tried to get support around, but they're not able to do it. And China also said that Iran, you shouldn't close the Hormuz Strait, and China absolutely holds Iran by the ears. And all of this in my world just tells me that there will not be any prolonged issues with oil flowing through the Hormuz Strait. If it should, oil will anyway find different routes, and already tons of ships are going to the United States to fill up and deliver more safely. Oil production is going up across the world, and especially in the United States. Energy in general is being produced at higher scale than ever before. And I think the oversupply will hit the markets. And in this scenario, I see oil going down to $40 by end of summer. Exactly where this will be, if it will be September, October, I do not know. But that is my bet. Also do know that the United States have released oil from their emergencies. The same have a lot of other countries. I think it was 800, 900 million barrels of oil has been released into the market. We will just have to wait and see. I am heavily invested into shipping, transport of gas, transport of oil, etc. These, the freight rates, they will still remain high. I don't see a big problem there. And anyway, if I get correct, oil will go down to 40, then I will just start to get back into other shares. Bitcoin 75,000 going upwards, dollar staying somewhat steady around the $1, 117 against the euro. I'm betting that dollar will strengthen against euro. For many, it seems like the world is somewhere at a chaos, but it's absolutely not. This is just how perception is. We can go a few years back, and it was much more chaos around the world, different things. Now, we focus on some major conflicts. Media is pushing, pushing everything as much as they can because it's just about politics and upcoming elections, etc., etc. But I see economies shaping, I see world trade shaping, and that makes me a strong believer that the next decade, as I said, will be a strong one. Moving us to the final and the last item of this podcast, and the reason why I make it short is simply because I believe markets right now is a little overbought. I cannot come up with any really good shares to bring to you and say, no, this is the share that you should buy now. All I can say that I believe market will continue upwards. I believe Nasdaq is oversold still. I believe a lot of shares are at very good buying opportunities. I think you can get them a little cheaper, but in general, that is how it is. I don't want to give you like buy this share this week, because it's a high chance that market will take a slight correction down, and you can buy, for instance, Tesla, which is currently at 388. You can buy it back at 365 come end of next week, for all I know. All I know is that looking long term, Tesla is still cheap. I got in, I was lucky, I got in, I said anything under 360 I will start to buy. I was lucky, I got it at 343, etc. And that has brought me a strong profit. I still want to get into Nivida. Maybe that train is too late. Maybe Nivida will push way over 200, continue upwards to 250. Currently sitting $198. Last time I sold was $208. I can still buy with almost, with $10 profit from my last sale. By the way, Nivida, I wanted to have under 150-ish to buy Nivida. That was the level I really hoped I would get in some sort of crash, but right now it doesn't seem like it will happen. In the $1,000 challenge, the stock has been for a very long time NIO, and I gave all the reasoning why NIO and why NIO, because market were unshaky. NIO has very strong reasons to be at current price levels. I didn't see huge risk on the downside with a strong potential upside. That being said, NIO currently sitting at $6.87, now pushed above the short-term rising trend, can indicate that it will go into even stronger rising trend. The only thing that really matters to me, because I'm heavily invested privately in NIO, and that turned out to be super good. The only thing that matters to me is that NIO is back into a rising trend. It fell from 60, and I started to buy NIO and got a lot of shares, even down at 380 at the lowest. Have a very nice average, and been waiting for NIO to turn. Things have been slower than I expected, to be real honest. It was up at $8 at 1.799, I believe exact, but then fell back. I bought a little more shares because I said for the long run, over the next 18 months, I think NIO will head upwards to $22. Trend for sure is super strong, and right now it's also giving a buy signals from the long-term moving average. Buy signals from the short-term moving averages, and the relation between these two averages. Strong support below, but right now being a little bit overbought in the very short term, meaning that there is a chance that it will go back to $6 and could even, in worst case, be $5.50. I wouldn't be surprised if that will be the result next week. Neither will I be surprised if NIO will be at $8 next week. The one thing about the $1,000 challenge is that I don't do options. I could tell you that let's do a sales option for them for Nasdaq, because it's higher chance that it will go down for a short term than up, and we could bet like this and hopefully then grow things much faster. But that is the super risky way where people usually lose their money, and I don't want to put you into this. We play it a slow but steady game, and NIO will stay in the $1,000 challenge also for this week. We are so much closer to the place where I will split the money into two. When you will be sold, most likely I will split money into two. And we will go into 2 shares instead of 1. Hunting for 10,000. After 10,000 we will hunt for 100,000. Until next week, just have a super week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.us Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.us. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.